Delighted to say I'm joined by Dylan Casey ahead of the AIB Munster GA All-Ireland, I should say Munster Senior Football Final against St Finbarr this weekend. Dylan, how much are you looking forward to this weekend, the challenge of playing in the Munster Final?
Yeah, Shane, it's a massive challenge for myself and for the club. Doesn't come around that often. The fact that the club have only represented Kerry in a Munster final 3 times in the last 100 years plus of tradition, so something we're looking forward to, and something hopefully we can put a good performance in place.
And why do you think it's kind of come right for you this season? Just even in the Kerry Championship, first of all, I know you've had some big games there, but what is it about this season that it's come right?
To be honest with you, I'm not too sure what the missing link was over the last 3 or 4 years, or 3 years, I suppose, because it's been a massive journey, a long journey with Wayne and the management since they came in. But I think just maybe the belief that the group were capable of winning county championship was a massive thing. We kind of set this year where obviously the last 3 years we were always eager to win a championship, but this year we'd no other choice but to put a lot of emphasis into first game, because obviously we were drawn East Kerry and they were the kingpins of Kerry over the last 3 years. So it was important that we put out our best performance on the opening day, let's say, because other than our best performance, we wouldn't have got through. And thankfully we managed to gain a bit of momentum from there. And I think the belief was ever present since then.
And when I was going through your games, like you marked David Clifford in that game, if I have it right, and Sean O'Shea when you played Ken Mayer. Do you relish the task of going up against players that are known nationally? Has been very, very hard to stop at inter-county level.
Yeah, like there's obviously the names you mentioned there, they're fantastic footballers, but that's where I want to see where I can benchmark myself, I suppose. Obviously, to be the best defender, you have to mark the best forwards, and that's obviously an ambition of mine, to be the best I can be as an inside defender. And I relish the opportunity of a challenge of marking the best forwards and trying to upset their game and make sure that I could nearly help my team, I suppose, by nulling their effect that they have on the game.
Yeah, and when Quillan made you captain this year, how old are you?
21.
21. So did you play with a couple of those guys underage for Kerry? I know you were minor under 20.
Yeah, I would have played Kerry minor with David Clifford. Would have been on the 2017 All-Ireland winning minor team. And I would have played with Shawnee O'Shea with the college in Sigerson 2 years ago. So yeah, I would have known them personally anyway.
Yeah. Okay, and then just even to talk more about your own season with Austin Stacks, you had that penalty shootout that was on TV against St Brendan's Board. Probably wasn't the greatest game for long spells, but can you explain to me what it was like just going through the mill of that penalty shootout?
The emotions on the field in the middle of the penalty shootout were something I hope I never experience again. Just nerves. Like obviously it was a tough game, probably not the best game to watch, but it was a very intense battle amongst 2, I suppose, rivals in the town. Obviously they're a district, but we would have been playing against them all the ways up through the ranks, underage and senior. And obviously the added side to it that I was living with 3 St Brendan's footballers as well. There was kind of a build-up of that, but we were very fortunate to go and get the equalising point after they got the goal late in extra time. But no, thankfully we managed to win the penalty shootout, and no better man to step up in the 5th penalty than Kieran Donaghy.
And then for the county final to be against Cairns O'Rahilly, who's obviously a huge Tralee neighbour, and it'd been a long, long time since the 2 teams played in a county final. Was it something like 85 years? And
85 or 86 years, yeah.
Yeah, to win 13 points to 10. What was it like actually even dealing with the pressure of the build-up? Because I'd say the pressure on that with the local rivalry is probably even more than for the Munster final.
Yeah, there was a fierce build-up, like a lot of intense talk, I suppose, around the town. But thankfully, I was above in college in Cork at the time, studying for exams. So that was all quite nice to me. I was able to concentrate, and I had a bit of a distraction. I didn't have to concentrate on that. It was something for the supporters, I suppose, to kind of enjoy the 2 weeks build up after the St Brendan's semi-final, and make sure that they made the most of the bragging rights after the final whistle on the Sunday. But no, it was probably the most intense and best atmosphere I've played in. It was as if there was 80,000 people packed into Austin Stacks Park that day. It was something I'll never forget.
And then lifting the cup, what was that like?
Oh, like 2014, last time watching Barry Shanahan do it. I never in a million years would I thought I'd be the next Stacks captain, but it was a proud moment for me and my family, and something that I didn't think I'd get the next opportunity to do, but stuff of dreams, yeah.
Yeah, and where were you were only a young lad, obviously, for that 2014 Munster title win. What's your recollections of that day?
Yeah, I suppose as a 14-year-old, I was kind of watching my heroes growing up playing for Austin Stacks. Big names that I would now be playing with and would be hanging around with in the dressing room. But obviously the final going to a replay in 2014, the county final, and then the trip to Stacks Park for the semi-final against Ballincollig and the final against the Naira above in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Just the gatherings and the colour and the noise, I suppose, that our set of supporters brought to the grounds, because I was in the middle of it all. Saw a video there during the week of me celebrating the final whistle with the supporters in 2014 after the Munster final. But no, it was something that I cherished growing up, that I was able to experience those days with the supporters, and now to be involved with the team. I think it's probably a nice link that I know exactly what the supporters are going through, and the younger fellas that are probably aspiring to play for Stacks and wear the black and amber, that I was in that situation as well, and that I'm now playing for Stacks Senior. So it's something to look forward to, that I cherish.
Yeah, the nice win over Newcastle West, 115 to 8 points. And if I remember correctly, there was some COVID cases in around, and possibly both camps, but definitely Newcastle West. That's kind of one of those huge things at the moment, trying to get to matches without lads, who can't play because of being a close contact, or because obviously if they have it outright. Yeah,
like obviously it's a tricky situation for any team, and it's something that we have to be mindful of going forward. And in the last 8 to 10 weeks that we've kind of had to keep to our own bubble. Obviously, we got to enjoy our Christmas after the Newcastle West game with our families, and it was important that we still had it in the back of our heads that we have a job to do. And obviously gearing towards Sunday, it was important that we stayed away and as much as possible from COVID cases, and made sure that we were healthy and back out onto the field and keeping our families safe and healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, and how much have you been able to see of St Finbarr? Obviously, they have a couple of county titles now since 2018, and obviously this year as well. And they had an impressive win over AIB Guinness, 214 to 12 points. So have you been able to see them that much?
I haven't been able to see them live at all, but obviously hearing and watching videos of the Bars, they've had a great season so far. Obviously, they've been knocking on the door the last few years. Like you said, 2018, I remember when they played Dr. Crokes in Killarney, actually, in the Munster campaign. And obviously, they have a fine calibre of players, and they'll bring their own expectations and challenges to the game Sunday. So, yeah.
Yeah. And can I just ask you about being a modern full-back? I'd often look at it and think you're getting isolated often against the best forward, and good ball going in front of you. It can be a very tough task. Can you tell me what you're up against when you're trying to play full forward against a serious forward, or full back even?
I suppose it's probably in our setup in Stacks. It's kind of, it's not so much individual. It's more as a collective that no fella is left on their own, and that we're not, like you said, one-on-one inside and with a load of space, and making sure that we kind of help each other and defend for each other. We take pride in defending as six backs, and that we're not isolated, I suppose, and on our own. But I suppose going back to your point as a fullback, it's just the game has changed, I suppose, since the very start. Normally, you would probably have classed the full forward as someone that is nearly a pinpoint inside, that you're just going to hit him, maybe long ball or something like that. But the game has changed so much now that it's nearly the exact same position as a corner forward, just being lively inside and constantly on the move. So, yeah, it's a challenge, but it's something that I relish and I enjoy.
Yeah, and do you recall Wayne Quillinan giving you the captain's armband, if we can call it that, and what it was like to get that nod?
Yeah, like it was back in the middle of lockdown last year. I was above in Cork, and we were doing Zoom sessions online, kind of keeping the morale and the team spirit alive and the social aspect of things while we were in the middle of lockdown. And Wayne just gave me a call just to say that he had it in mind that he was going to make me captain for the year coming. But I suppose it was probably, I'd say, as long as I can remember, it was about 4 to 6 weeks before I ever got to step out into the field after hearing. So I was eager to get going after hearing it initially, but I had to wait a while. But thankfully, we've had a successful enough year, and we've brought the success back to the club.
And then just a final topic, Jack O'Connor has taken over as Kerry manager. Has there been any contact made? I'm sure you have ambitions to play for Kerry.
Yeah, obviously the goal is to play for Kerry, and the goal of any child or any young footballer aspiring to make it to the grade of intercounty down here in Kerry is to wear the green and gold. Something that I aspire to do and something that I hope I can do going forward. But for now, it's just time to focus on the club, and hopefully it'll come to that after the club campaign is finished up.
Absolutely. Well, look, best of luck in the AIB Munster GA football final this weekend, and sure, hopefully we'll chat to you again soon, Dylan.
Cheers. Thanks, Shane.